Lodges and historical places, or historic places.
Lodging in historic places.
Historic places. It's fascinating to be able to see these spaces and to be able to like investigate them, but to definitely not have the means to stay in them.
Well, certainly.
No.
They're always very, very expensive.
Mm-hmm. And also packed out pretty far in advance,
right.
too. Yeah.
But I feel like you have a lot of opinion about them regarding aesthetics and like their role at all for being there.
As far as like history goes with lodging in national parks, I feel like that was part of the attraction. It's like come and see the park and stay in the park and like be one with the park. Mm-hmm. Only Zool. Like, right. I feel like that was sort of the impetus for them to be constructed. There is some merit to that. And I think even today it's kind of interesting. I don't know what portrait you're trying to paint of me of being against lodges.
Oh, I'm not trying to paint any kind of portrait of you. I just feel like whenever we are, like you're saying all of these things right now and it sounds beautiful and flowery, but when we are like inside of the park, I'm like, oh, I want to go in this lodge and see what it's like. And you're like, oh, no. I'm just going to sit outside and like, be here. And like, right. I don't like the fact
that this is a portrait that has been painted that is incorrect.
I am painting what I see.
What is happening? Oh, I want to go into this lodge and look at this gift shop is really what
Ain't
is
nothing
the
wrong
subtext.
with that.
That's the subtext.
Also, look at the architecture.
Here. No.
Also, look at the design.
That is rarely.
All of the above.
Rarely
that is
the goal.
Exactly what I want to do.
It is. I want to merchandise my life. I'm right on top of that, Rose.
I mean, I won't lie. Of course, yes, we know that I do enjoy a T-shirt here and there.
You?
But I do feel like you are a little bit of a Sour Patch Kid when it comes to...
is that how it's going to be?
That's how it's going to be. When it comes to like...
well, you're a Cabbage Patch Kid. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for adventure, I want to follow on the trail, or get a little lost and let the wind fill my sails. Get up when the stars still fill the sky, don't wake the sun, there's so much to be done, and the day has just begun. Go where the postcards are real, you can feel, you can open your eyes and open your heart when you gaze at the national park.
Follow you there.
At the national park. At the national park. Follow you, I'll follow you there.
We would like to acknowledge, while hiking in the land also known as Glacier National Park, that we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Blackfeet Nation and the Tanaha people.
So this was Wednesday of the week that we were in Glacier National Park.
Yes.
The day prior, we had hiked the Highline Trail.
Yes.
Very famous trail that leaves from Logan Pass, which is kind of like the center point of going to the Sun Road, even though it's not really the center.
It's where all the action is, really.
Right. Yeah. We met a new trail friend, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
She was headed to Mount Rainier that day,
Tuesday.
right
after we hiked.
And we were staying in Glacier another 3 days.
Yeah. We collapsed when we got back from the Highline Trail.
Absolutely collapsed.
Like, there was nothing happening for the rest of that afternoon.
No.
Except napping, camping, luxuriating, which is just napping on a cot.
Right.
And maybe doing some reading or crosswording.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which we did in the tent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
This was a day, this Wednesday, where we were going to have a bit of a changeover in how we were staying at Johnson's of St. Mary's.
That's right.
We had made tent camping reservations, followed by primitive cabin reservations.
Right.
To try and give our backs a little bit of a break.
Yeah, and just to have more of an indoor space than a tent for a few nights, which was sort of the mainstay of this 10-park 5-week trip, where it was sort of, we're going to camp for some of the time, we're going to try to find Airbnbs for some of the time, and just make our lives a little easier than camping straight for 5 weeks. Yeah.
And that is what we did.
Yeah.
We asked them about this at the camp office, and they said, you will have to entirely pack up, take everything. We cannot store anything for you. And then return at 4 p.m. because that's when the
cabin
primitive
would be
cabin
ready.
will be ready.
Yeah.
We had made a plan that we were going to go to the Many Glacier area that Wednesday.
Yeah.
You will often hear people say the Many Glacier area, and it sounds like
Mini.
like miniature.
Welcome to the stage, Many Glacier.
Right.
Yeah.
But in fact, they are referring to an area called Many Glacier, M-A-N-Y, meaning there are many glaciers that one could see here in this area.
Sure.
The Many Glacier area is not off of going to the Sun Road. You have to take an entirely different way to get there. Because of this, we figured, since it's not on the Sun Road, since we're going to have to come back later and change, and also we were exhausted, so we were like, why don't we wake up a little later than usual and pack up, and then we'll head over to Many Glacier.
I think the thought process there too was like, why pack up and be loud with the car when there's plenty of people tent camping around us? Obviously, that's unavoidable when it comes to tent camping and people's plans, but we had that sort of consideration too when we were in Yellowstone, when we had to pack up and leave. We tried to kind of sort of be like, instead of leaving at 5 in the morning, let's leave at 6, bump it back a little bit later. And we were staying in St. Mary, which is not East Glacier.
Yes, we have previously sort of said that they were the same thing, and they are not the same thing.
No.
East Glacier is an area south of St. Mary. St. Mary is its own community.
Yeah.
They are both on the eastern side of the area known as Glacier National Park.
This is true. Yes. So just a little quick corrections corner. We haven't done one of those in a while, but they're back.
They're back. So we were headed to Many Glacier, which is an area sort of on the northeast section of what is considered Glacier National Park.
Right.
Our campsite, Johnson's at St. Mary's, was right off of Highway 89, which is this road that runs straight up the side of Glacier National Park on the east. In order to get to going to the Sun Road, you turn left off of Highway 89 and you get right onto going to the Sun Road. That'll take you to the largest, most central area of Glacier National Park.
Right.
But we were headed to Many Glacier, which meant we had to get on Highway 89, go north all the way to Route 3, turn left on Route 3, and drive west into the Many Glacier area.
Right. When we were approaching our campsite the first night, there was a big like highway road sign, like an electric sign that was like roadwork in St. Mary area. And it was also flashing like parking lot is full. So it's not that far of a stretch to Many Glacier from where we were staying.
No.
But it is pivotal to note that, yes, the parking lot does fill up. And at the time we were there, they were doing work on the road. So we, again, wanted to get up early still, but not as early as we were getting up because we wanted to make sure that we were able to park and not have an issue there.
I think we were up around 7:30 packing up.
I don't even think it was that late. I think we were up at like 5:36 and out of there by 6:37.
I feel like I remember us starting the hike at around 9 a.m.
Okay.
Because I don't think it took terribly long, maybe at least 45 minutes to an hour to get to Many Glacier from where we were.
Yeah.
But that was mostly because of that road.
Yeah.
When we turned down Route 3, first we saw the construction, the folks paving the road. There was part of the road that was paved.
Right.
That was beautiful and easy. And then we got to the section of the road that was not paved yet. And this was primitive.
It had been scraped essentially.
It had been very scraped.
They were totally repaving everything. They did tell us, a few people had mentioned that, there were signal men, so you might be able to go for a while, like a long stretch between one man that's holding a sign that says go and on the other side a person
someone else doing
yielding.
That too. Yeah.
Some of the wait times could have been up to like 20 minutes to a half hour just to allow the flow of traffic to go where it needed to go.
Right, because there's only one road in and out of Many Glacier.
Yeah. How were you feeling after having to put 2 new tires on a car?
Well, there was definitely still some PTSD about that because I was like, well...
Because you were driving this day.
I was driving because we weren't on the Sun Road and it was going to be a flat road. And so I was like, yeah, happy to drive. / I was forced to drive because in other areas of our lives, other people were forced to drive. So, no, I graciously drove this day, was happy to drive. I took it slow because I was like, I'm not going that fast. There were definitely people who were
passed
aggressive.
us
and were
Yeah.
aggressive
Yeah.
and passed us. And I
But
was
they
like,
also had like,
That's fine.
monster truck wheels, I feel like. Yeah.
And we were in a Toyota Venza. And so it was like, well, we are doing what we can with this. And this is the pace we need to go.
We were in a
And
smart
that's just
car.
that.
Don't let Dusty tell you anything else.
Right. So, could you imagine?
No.
I can't.
Nope.
No, I can't.
Not even just like packing things in there.
No.
It wasn't really a windy road at all. It was pretty much a straight shot. And it was really no elevation or any sort of gain. And this finally gets us to the Many Glacier area. There was a booth for us to like show our park badge. And so you do have to check in there. Some parks, you go through and there isn't an entrance fee because there are major highways that run through parks. But Glacier, any section that you were in where you were entering in the parkland, there was a booth of some sort to kind of check in to say, here we are. But we do get to the Many Glacier area.
The Many Glacier area has a number of hikes that leave from it. There were 3 big hikes that were talked about often while we were there, which was the Grinnell Glacier Trail, which is the one we had planned to do. Cracker Lake, which had been recommended to us.
Right, a lot of horse poop apparently.
But a lot of horse poop.
Because they think it's a horse trail as well. Yeah.
Right. And then Iceberg Lake. And Iceberg Lake had been closed
because of bears.
Because of grizzlies.
Well, it hadn't been closed. There had been notifications of the fact that there were bears in the area. So you could hike it at your own risk, which if that's something you wanted to do that day, you could do. But if you were with me, that wasn't happening. Absolutely not.
However, we did say we're going to do Grinnell first.
Right.
And then we're going to see how we feel. And then maybe we'll do Iceberg because it was a shorter trail.
But it was more incline, if I remember correctly.
Well,
Iceberg Lake.
It is one very steep grunt of incline for a period of time. And then it's smooth sailing after that.
Yeah.
We parked. We drove past the Many Glacier Hotel. It led us into a parking lot area. Parking lot was pretty big.
Yeah.
It was also pretty full by the time we arrived.
Yeah, there were still spaces available, but, again, a reason to hike early, hike often. Parking always is a reason to hike early, hike often, especially in a park like Glacier, which in the summer is very, very crowded. Yeah.
That's right. So we geared up. And we were looking at a map that we had in a guidebook versus a map that we had
from a newspaper,
park ranger.
Park, yeah.
And we were trying to figure out where to start.
Right.
Now, there was a boat on the lake behind Many Glacier Hotel. That lake is called Swift Current Lake. And there's a boat that people take that will take them across the lake and drop them off on the other side.
Which will take them basically to the foot of where you start your incline for the Grinnell Glacier hike. You're pretty close.
There's still 0.7 miles you got to walk before that incline starts.
It takes away all of the, rounding of the lakes,
right,
one way or the other, however you're doing it.
Yeah, which is what some people were choosing to do.
Yeah, there was quite a line. The boat hadn't left yet, which is why I think we were there pretty early.
Right.
Because there were people just queued up, ready to go. But we're also there in the morning and we have this spectacular view of the lake itself.
Of Swift Current Lake.
Yeah, Swift Current Lake.
The peaks above it.
From the lake shore, which is sweeping and beautiful, you get this kind of view of the Lewis Range. The mountains are about 9,500 feet tall in this range. Some of them include Mount Allen, Mount Gould, Grinnell Point, Mount Grinnell, and Mount Wilbur. So those are some of the mountains that you can see. As we got to the lakeshore, we got to the boat launch. We're in the shadow of the hotel at this point based off of where the sun is. We're looking at the map and we're really trying to figure out where is the starting point here.
And we had also seen some people walk over to what I'm going to say is the right side.
Hotels behind you. You're walking to the right and towards the road where we came in on, essentially.
Route 3.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where people were. We were like, well, it looks like we're supposed to start over there, but seems that people are starting over here. I feel like there's a healthy amount of listen to what the map says and also look around and see what people are doing.
It's called situational awareness.
Situational awareness. But that doesn't guarantee one is going to be more correct than the other.
No, not necessarily at all. As we discovered as we had a lovely stroll around the lake to the right and figured after going basically back to Route 3, oh no, this is not the direction we need to be going in. And we had to basically about face. I mean, the one thing about being there so early and before the boat came is the water was so incredibly still. The reflection of the peaks in the water was just beautiful. And
we
like
got a lot
yeah.
of pictures where like you can't tell which side is the
Like,
top,
which is the
what's
sky
the
and which is, like,
reflection,
reflection,
and
yeah.
what's not.
That was really cool. And like, again, another reason to get there, to get places early, because light is beautiful in the morning. And, you know, you have situations like this where it's quiet. All things to consider. We do about face walk back through the shadow of the hotel, past the line of people still waiting for the boat.
and to the trail that starts on the other side of this hotel.
Right. So we do see the signs. It takes us along a paved path around Swift Current Lake to start.
And for a while, this is like flat and lovely and through the woods. And it's right along Swift Current Lake the entire time.
There's a boathouse to our left at one point too. So like a boat launch is right there.
There's a couple little wooden bridges.
And there's some private cabiny residences there.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll see kind of that too.
I remember talking about like, oh, I wonder if people come here on retreat, if people come here, you know, for conferencing, you know, things like that.
Yeah. It's kind of just like a very idyllic and very peaceful sort of stroll, which not that the High Line wasn't, but it was more grunt work and payoff views all the way around and just kind of being awestruck all the way around. This was sort of like, let's bring us back down to earth a little bit. That's what I sort of felt like. This was like a nice kind of, I don't want to say palate cleanse because I really enjoyed the High Line, but it was a nice sort of resetted to be like, that's not every trail you're going to do every day. The High Line is not that.
Right.
Like, that is a spectacular feat to travel that.
And clearly this is a situation where they have the Many Glacier Hotel there. Then they also have all of these trails that one can do outside around that can be as difficult or as easy as you might want.
Yeah. There are multiple lakes in the area, and there's multiple ways to get to the Grinnell Glacier Trail.
Or really, I don't know that it has like a proper name. It's like the trail that will lead one to the Grinnell Glacier Viewpoint. We choose the easier path there and make a plan to take a different path back. That's the nice thing about this, is that you can wind your way one way and then come back the very same way or circle back a different way. I love that about trails where there are options. It was like an Acadia experience. Choose your own adventure. Yeah. The two lakes that are right here, right? We've mentioned Swift Current. There's another lake right on the foot of Swift Current Lake here, which is called Lake Josephine. Once we make our way around Swift Current Lake, there's a tiny little connecting trail that's going to take us to the edge of Lake Josephine.
Yeah.
And that is what we take. By this time, we've walked about 0.9 miles. I remember it feeling a little longer than 0.9 miles at this point, even though it had been flat, even though I think we were just tired. But
that's the theme for our day today. It was just our bodies were catching up with us, and like
we had
the
not
exhaustion.
slept great the night before.
No, there wasn't good sleeping.
So we had taken the 0.9 miles around Swift Current Lake to the Grinnell Viewpoint. It was going to be about a total of 5 miles out and then 5 miles back. That was what was anticipated. It ended up not exactly being that.
No.
But from here, we were going to have to walk a little further to get to the junction where we were going to have to head off to the Grinnell Glacier Viewpoint. But what this does do is it puts us right next to Lake Josephine to walk along this gorgeous, open, sweeping valley view that just sort of opened up and you could see forever.
Yeah, this was a real treat, again, to have this kind of like lower vantage as opposed to being so high up in the mountain ranges the day before. But it was again, a very beautiful walk along the lake. One thing that we very quickly realized was that today was going to be a lot warmer than yesterday. That was for multiple reasons. We weren't up as high elevation-wise. And it was also just happened to be a warmer day. So the heat of the day sort of already had kind of kicked up early in the morning. I just remember like, oh, it was beautiful, but it was hot and we were tired. Yeah.
It was hot very quickly. Yeah. Sweating fully. Yes. We walked about 0.7 miles from that tiny connecting trail next to Lake Josephine. It did lead us into some trees.
Yep.
It led us into some foresty area, and this is where things started to get a little more up and down.
Yeah.
But that did finally lead us to the fork in the trail. The left would have taken us further down next to Lake Josephine, and the right would take us up to the Grinnell Glacier Viewpoint, and that is what we took. And with that, let's take our first break. Today's episode of Gaze at the National Parks is sponsored by TrueFire.com, the planet's largest and most comprehensive selection of online guitar lessons, according to Guitar Player magazine.
TrueFire's interactive learning tools and massive library of over 50,000 video lessons help guitarists ignite their technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing. Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Using TrueFire's desktop and mobile apps, guitarists work with multi-angle HD video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere, and at their own pace. TrueFire's style-specific learning paths guide guitarists every step of the way. Use the assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow the lesson recommendations, and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan.
And TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz. From Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists, TrueFire students have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, and acoustic guitar educators. Guitar players can progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, premium tracks, and so much more. With thousands of 5-star reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform.
So grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Visit TrueFire.com and use code GAZE for your free 30-day all-access trial and 50% off your first purchase. That's TrueFire.com/gaze. And that's GAZE, G-A-Z-E. Our next partner has a product I literally use every day. I started taking athletic greens because I was concerned about heading back into the classroom and having enough energy to get myself through the day. As a teacher, I'm on my feet all day long. There was also concerns about my immune health being in the classroom again, especially during the time of COVID.
I've also started taking athletic greens. As somebody who takes vitamins every day, I wanted to start using AG1 so that I could get all of my vitamins from one source instead of a whole bunch of different supplements.
One scoop of athletic greens is 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right.
This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging.
So we both started taking athletic greens, also known as AG1, this past winter, which helped to give us both a leg up on flu and cold season. Personally, I take athletic greens in the morning after I've had my cup of coffee. I mix it into a 12-ounce cup of cold water. It gets me set for the day. It's great at not only giving me energy in a high demanding school environment, but helping me with my rest and recovery at night.
I also take AG1 like that, or sometimes I'll even throw it into a protein shake, and it adds some great flavor.
AG1 is a small micro habit you can do every day to better activate your body and mind. Made from the highest quality products and based on the latest science, Athletic Greens is recommended by professional athletes and trusted by leading health experts.
Whether you're vegetarian, on paleo, on keto, AG1 is great for any diet because it is gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and there's no added sugar.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/gaze. That's athleticgreens.com/gaze, G-A-Z-E, to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We are playing One Has to Go.
Great. It's been a while since we've done this.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I feel like we played this at some point during our summer adventures.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, One Has to Go. The theme is desserts.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for you.
Yeah.
Whipped cream, cookies, pie.
Oh, you dirty, dirty dog.
One has to go.
I'll probably say whipped cream. I mean, I love it so, but ain't nobody touching pie. There's so many varieties.
Love it.
And also cookies. All the varieties. Cookies. So, whipped cream you can sachet away.
Okay.
Yeah. What
Great.
about you?
Oh, for those?
Oh, yeah.
Pie.
Oh.
I'm more of a cake person.
You're more of a cake eater. I get it.
Cake eater, right?
Mhm.
And pie is great. And I don't consider cheesecake to be pie. I consider it cheesecake.
Well, it's got cake in the name.
Cake
so.
is in the name.
Did I argue that with you?
You
I come
didn't.
for you
but
and say?
some people would argue that, like, I mean, I think pie is great. I love pie, but it's, at the end of the day, I'm more of a cake person.
Mm-hmm.
So I intentionally didn't put cake on this list.
So it was a biased list. There was
Obviously.
implicit bias.
Absolutely.
There. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about you?
So this is more, the theme is amusement.
Amusement.
So day trips to the beach, hiking day trips, or day trips to an amusement park. One has to go.
Oh, while I love roller coasters, I think amusement park has to go.
Oh, that's my answer as well.
I mean, I just feel like I would be lost without my day trips to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one who will finish work at 4 or 5
and drive to the beach.
And drive to the beach because it's about 35 minutes away. I love it, and I will just stay there until it starts to get dark. In the summer
when you can call the corners.
Right. Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And obviously, hiking day trips are going nowhere.
You don't say.
Right. Gaze at the national amusement parks.
Ugh.
Could you imagine? I'm sure there are some lovely amusement parks podcasts out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make a throw up noise.
Are not besmirching you at all.
Yeah, no.
But no, that's not
not our lives.
Not our lives.
Mm-mm.
No. I do, and I certainly enjoy an amusement park from time to time.
You
Absolutely. Do. And we have enjoyed amusement parks together.
We have.
But yeah, I think that's my answer.
Okay.
We have finally made it onto the trail that's going to take us up to the Grinnell Glacier overlook. And very immediately, it turns into incline.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fairly palatable incline.
Right. It's not anything that we have to cry or bitch and moan about yet.
Yeah. So we're on this for a while, and we're still a little bit in the shadow. Mm-hmm. And then things start to open up even more, and we're in open rock face.
Right.
And when this happens, it starts to get steeper.
Yeah. We do see, as we're in kind of the woodsier area of this initial rise, there is a warning sign that says bear frequenting area, which, sent me into the most state of euphoria that I've ever been in. And by the state of euphoria, I mean the show where people are out of their mind on drugs.
That's right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's right. You just turned into Sydney Sweeney.
Yep,
That's what
exactly.
you did. I was like, oh, I wonder if we will see a bear. And you're like, I don't want you to wonder that. I want you.
Right.
I don't want to be near a bear.
No.
And no, that's true. I didn't want to be near a bear. No,
and we had, when we were on the High Line, it had been commented that I hiked ahead of everybody but didn't have the bear spray. So I made sure post Highline Day in the gift shop there to buy some bear spray. Just be aware too, something to know about bear spray. You can't take it on a plane with you. And also, it's pretty expensive. So just be aware. It's I think it was $25, $30 for the bottle. But if it's something that could be potentially life-saving, then it's worth it. But just a little disclaimer about bear spray. It's probably a good idea to carry it with you.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So in this area now, it's starting to feel reminiscent of the incline we did yesterday.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Not nearly as bad, but reminiscent. Mm-hmm. We're still scarred by that Grinnell Glacier overlook incline off of the Highline Trail. I know that there's a lot of things titled Grinnell Glacier in this suite of episodes right here, but the previous day off of the Highline Trail, we had hiked up this
0.8 mile.
0.8, I say
air
with air quotes because I don't know that was 0.8. Very steep incline all the way up to be on top of Grinnell Glacier. And so we were very excited because today, coming at it from Many Glacier, we were going to see Grinnell Glacier
front facing,
down below and front facing.
Yeah, as opposed to above.
As we turn this corner, we're grunting up this incline. Things start to open up, and then all of the views over to the left. Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorite views I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And is potentially one of my favorite views in Glacier because it's like you have the peak. Down below it, you have Grinnell Lake,
which is an aqua teal, like the most teal blue water.
Perfectly turquoise type of just like still water. And then up on the right, there's Grinnell Glacier. Right below Grinnell Glacier, there's the upper Grinnell Glacier Lake. That's like up in the mountain.
Which we can't see from this vantage, but it's there. We saw it yesterday from the overlook.
Just this gorgeous sweeping view. It's like a dream. Totally mind-blowing. Couldn't believe it was real.
Yeah.
Stood there in awe of what was there at every moment.
Yeah. We saw some incredible views on the High Line the day before, but this feels very like postcard image, beautiful.
Don't miss this view.
Don't miss this view.
If you can, don't. It's worth it to schlep up to Many Glacier, to walk past the two lakes, to walk up here to see this view. It is worth every moment of that time.
Yeah. It's really not that long until from here, like Dusty was saying, that, as we're climbing up, along with seeing this view in the distance, you are seeing Grinnell Glacier, which we saw yesterday from above, and we saw what it would look like in a photo from the guidebook. So we are basically able to kind of like just have eyes on it for most of the rest of the path, sort of like this constant there.
While we were looking and spotting Grinnell Glacier on the side of the mountain, we were trying to figure out where we were on the peaks the day before, because we can see Grinnell Glacier and then we can see these different peaks above it. And we were like, well, where was the spot where Dusty sat with the marmot? And then where was the spot where Mike and Sam walked up all the way to the top? And we finally were able to like point it out.
Yeah. The perspective of that is very strange to like be coming at it from that different vantage. So it was very neat to be able to be like, oh, we were up there yesterday. And that was real cool. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
As we're walking, we can see the trail in the distance. We can see sort of like, we do finally get to a point where the incline is not as steep.
No.
It's still incline, but it's not as steep.
Yeah.
And we're sort of barreling around to the right. There's like this big open area where it's just like people are standing there taking a ton of photos. And it's sort of like a nice sort of natural break area. The rock is really flat here.
There's a lot of red rock here, which is fascinating too. Just like all of a sudden the rock is like this Sedona clay colored red rock, which is not something we had seen up until this point. It's very, very like prominent. You can't miss it. Unexpected, yeah.
Didn't realize that was going to be the case today.
No.
We can see in the distance the rest of the trail, and we were like, oh, okay, so we can see where it's leading. It's like leading around, and then it leads right up to Grinnell Glacier.
Yeah.
And we can see that there are people on it. And so we're walking, assuming that that's going to be where we are headed. And then we come to this
End of trail sign.
Yeah. Or it's like basically
a snow hazard ahead.
Hazard ahead. Stop right here.
Yeah.
Now, we had been told that the Grinnell Glacier Viewpoint Trail was open, but it stops at a point. You can't go all the way out. Like there's like a half a mile that you can't do.
Right. The sign itself says sections of the trail traverse steep snowfields and dangerous snow bridges. Hikers have been seriously injured and died crossing snow hazards ahead. Travel not advised past this point. Now, at this point, we hadn't done any snow hiking in Glacier.
And we didn't have snowshoes. Nor did we have
the pole attachments?
For our shoes. The attachments for our shoes.
We didn't have the, oh my God, the name went right out of my head. They were like chains. I bought them for us.
Like little snow spiky chains for the shoes.
Yeah.
Gators, not gators.
Not gators. Nope. It's okay. It'll come to us.
Yeah. Okay, great.
We haven't used them since we were in Glacier, but we didn't use them prior to this day. We sort of both looked at each other and were like, well, what do we want to do? There were a few things that were going, I think, through both of our minds. One, we were both exhausted. Like, I don't think we realized how much the day before had taken from us.
Or how much we wanted to admit that the day before had taken so much from us.
And two, I think we were both like, well, typically when there's a sign, I would rather, especially if it's a safety related issue, I guess minus the bear area that we traverse through, I don't really want to be walking across snowfields that you could potentially fall straight through and, kill yourself or hurt yourself and then have to be medevaced out of the park.
Definitely
and
not.
You know what? That's some people's lives. And if that's the thing that you want to do and you want to, run that risk, I guess good for you. I don't know.
There were people who walked right over that sign and kept going.
Yeah.
I think this just comes from us being travel buddies for so long.
Yeah.
Like when I saw the sign, I was like, okay, well, there's no way we're walking across that sign and not following these rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I guess we could have and again, there's no FOMO here by any means. We could have probably walked to a point where there was snow and we didn't feel comfortable because the trail ahead, we could see there wasn't snow. I think this is sort of just this is the part they stop the trail. It's where they're able to control the flow of people better, regardless of if there's snow 5 feet in front of the sign, snowfields, or whether it's 50 yards up the trail. So I think that this is just sort of the blanket stop area for the trail when the snow hasn't melted fully.
and also as a hiker in a natural space, we share this value. I think it's always a good idea to do what the rangers tell you to do.
Yeah.
And the rangers had said, we want you to stop here and we want you to turn around.
Yeah.
And so that's the right thing to do.
The other thing too, and perhaps I would have been of a different ilk if this had not been the case, but as Dusty said, we did take an excruciating 0.8 air quotes mile hike up an overlook trail. So we did get to see Grinnell from a very close but above, bird's eye vantage. I think had we not done that, maybe I would have felt a little bit more inclined to say, well, let's just go until we see snow and then we'll turn around. But
sure.
I also wasn't feeling cheated by Grinnell Glacier at all.
I felt like really the point of this hiking trail specifically was that view of the lake with the
Grinnell
peak
in the background.
and Grinnell. And, that's really the thing you go out there to see.
So we take a minute and take a break and we regroup and we take a bunch of photos and then we turned ourselves around. And how did you feel about that?
I was so unhappy that we weren't going to be doing more incline that day. I was devastated. I felt cheated.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that now decline was now ahead of us was something that devastated me.
And with that, let's take our next break.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
Alicia Tired.
No, it's Alicia Tried.
I
you
can't
see what
read.
you want to see.
Yeah. Alicia Tired.
Alicia Tired. Alicia,
She's her dark sister.
she's her dark sister. I think so. Alicia Tried.
Alicia tried.
Right.
Alicia tried.
Alicia Tried.
Yeah, I mean, you gave it your all.
You gave it
did
your
your
all.
best.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Alicia tried.
I feel like Alicia Tried is comically and in a very self-aware way misses the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to do something and misses the mark, but does it purposefully for comedy.
Oh, and she's self-effacing about it for comedy.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to sew a dress right in front of you and put it on, and it's terrible. But the point is that it's terrible. And it's going to be terrible.
And at least she tried.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that feels like it's, very much so a part of her routine. But then I feel like, she puts on that rag dress that doesn't work, but then there's some magic that transforms it into something beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the pitfall of her experience then turns into like a wonderful bonus for her.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So she gets to be Cinderella one way or another.
Yes. Yeah.
I got it. I feel like she lip syncs to She Works Hard for the Money.
Yeah, that feels right.
By Donna Summer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a stretch, but I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like her merch is dog leashes.
Okay.
Because I think she might, who knows? Maybe she spells her name Aleasha, which is weird, but maybe she's an animal activist.
So you've really layered upon layered.
But they're not great dog leashes.
No.
And they don't work that well.
She tried, though.
But Alicia tried.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're
That's-
like braided rope, and she calls them dog leashes. Right? Maybe that. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something like that. But the point is that they don't work that well. I got some merch from Alicia Tried, but
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's
Like
the
an egg
point.
timer in the sand just doesn't run through it.
Right.
It's all like,
Exactly.
oh, well, it almost worked, but the plastic is pinched in the
Oh,
sieve.
hi
Yeah.
everybody! I have new merch tonight. I have these like time. Oh, they don't. Okay, well they
Yeah.
don't work. Oh
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. I feel like
Okay.
she has like a big carpet bag that she pulls things from. Like that's
Yes.
part of her gimmick. It's
Oh,
like,
I like it.
she's like an Avon lady or a Tupperware salesperson.
Right.
And so she's like, here are my wares. That's also where she pulls her outfits from too.
Oh, I like that.
Like a Mary Poppins-esque kind of experience.
Right.
But with faulty merchandise.
Faulty merchandise. I like it. I'm here for it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
Alicia Tried. Or Alicia Tired.
So we turn around and we head back down this trail that we're on. Now the gorgeous sweeping view is to the right. We take more pictures because the light is now different.
Yep.
We're headed in a decline downhill. It's a lot easier. The sun was higher at this point, and it got even hotter as we were headed down.
Yeah, it started to become a little overcast too, so that was sort of a saving grace, but there was like humidity. I felt even though we weren't like East Coast, I was like, this is not what I signed up for in Glacier National Park.
I remember
Yeah.
there's this photo of us that we took together.
Oh, we just look hot and destroyed.
And we are just dripping in sweat. It is pouring down ourselves.
We're like, this photo doesn't get shown to anybody.
But now I think we have to put it on
yeah,
Instagram.
I guess so.
I know, because people will want the visual reference. Right.
We chose to, when we came back down, to jut off to the right. So initially did our incline to come up. We had come from one way up to this point to go up to the overlook or to the Viewpoint trail. And when we came back down, rather than go to the left, which would have taken us back the way we had come, we decided to go to the right, which would take us a different way around the lakes.
And that would take us down some switchbacks. And there's only a few here.
But they were very overgrown.
They were really overgrown,
Right.
and they were kind of steep.
Yeah.
And we were headed down them, but I remember getting to the bottom of them because we were just moving quick. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were like,
We're tired.
we're tired, and also there could be ticks.
Yeah.
So we're like moving and moving and moving and moving, and we got to the end, and I was like, I am so glad we didn't go up there.
Oh, no, that's not a trail to go up. So if you're doing, the round, going around Swift Current and Josephine, go around the lakes to the right towards the Viewpoint and come back down and go around the left side of the lake if you're standing at the hotel.
Yeah.
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 And looking that way. Because otherwise you're in for a not great surprise when it comes to that incline.
Right.
There. Or it's just incline all the way up until you get to that viewpoint we stopped at where the trail
Yeah.
stopped.
There's a lot of ways.
There's
a
many
couple
ways.
of ways to add more incline here that you don't need,
Yeah.
or that you don't have to do, I
Right.
should say.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
The choice is yours.
So we make it to the banks of Lake Josephine, and there was a newly constructed wooden bridge here. We crossed this bridge. Now, there was another spot here where we could have gone and descended more and gone to another trail, but we decided not to do that.
Right.
We decided to stay along Lake Josephine.
Right. This quickly becomes a trail that walked through essentially these fields of flowers and trees, which were gorgeous. It was about a 1.5-mile walk. It was also shaded, which was lovely
And
at
it was
this point in the day.
flat.
And it was flat. The only thing that was a problem about this trail was that there were so many flies and so many bugs and so many insects all around because we were really close to the lake. And the one cool thing about this trail, being able to see the lake all the way around, was lovely. Being in the shade was lovely, but the flies were the thing that was like, damn, because we didn't have that on the other side of the lake at all. We were sort of in like a marshier area, I would say.
Full of flies most of the time.
Which
here.
thrilled you.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we had our bug spray.
We did.
Reapplied it a lot. The walk through these flowers, though, was really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was sort of in my own sort of takeaways from this section. That's what I remember more.
Than the insects. I guess the insects
the
bothered me
insects.
that day a little bit more. The other cool thing was that in talking with Becky Lomax, she was saying that at one point in the summer, they will hike all the way to the Many Glacier Lodge, stay in that area in Many Glacier,
and then hike their way back on a trail that basically runs right into the trail that we were running into. So it was really cool.
And we passed that. We intersected with it.
We intersected it, and we're like, oh, this is the trail that Becky was talking about, which is like really, really neat to kind of like have that frame of reference for it on the trail.
Because there was a sign that was like, do you want to go to this peak? It's only 9 miles or so from here. And I was like, do you want to go to that peak? And you were like, I can't even think about that at this time. My body is exhausted.
Yeah.
I do remember running into, there were some people we ran into on this section who were like, oh my God, did you see a bear? We were like, no bears around here.
Yeah.
I feel like they said they just talked to somebody who had seen one, or for some reason they were checking in about it.
They were checking in.
And we were like, nope. Haven't seen any bears here.
We're just making lots of noise. So.
Yeah. So we kept going. Mm-hmm. This led us back to Swift Current Lake, and we took the same trail back that we had taken around.
On the way out.
Yeah. Which was a mostly paved walk through the very beautiful, peaceful woods.
Right. And there are more people about at this point, so a lot of people heading out on the trail as we're heading back. But we get back to the hotel area. We just basically found there were like some landscaped boulders that we were able to sit on and just like
eat peanut butter sandwiches
and relax for a minute and kind of like talk about what we wanted to do for the rest of our day, because this, took us a decent amount of time to get back to where we needed to be. We were sort of back in the midst of the hotel, like a little around like 11 o'clock or so, like maybe 11:30. We were sort of trying to figure out like, what do we do? Because
what do we do with our time?
We have time to kill now before we can go back to the campground.
And typically we would say, well, let's do another trail. Right. Our other trail that we had planned to do or thought about doing, discussed doing, was the Iceberg Lake Trail, the one that had
potential
grizzlies
bears
reported on it. Mm-hmm. But Mike, you threw an absolute fit in the middle of like this area here. You threw yourself on the ground and you were like, I can't possibly do that.
No, I think it was also like, well, how are we both feeling right now? Do we want to do another trail? Or is it okay that we just take a beat, man? Like we'd been going so hard, so fast the entire trip.
Can I say, to be truthful here in this moment, this was a moment both of us were sitting there. I was going like, I know I'm tired, but also I will rally. If you were like, I really want to do Iceberg Lake, then I would have rallied to do it. And I was also sort of not in a place where I feel like I don't have energy to make a choice. You know what I mean?
So you left it to the Libra to do the choosing.
And you were, it took you a while. Mm-hmm. It took you a while because you were like, we could do Iceberg. There's Cracker Lake too. We could do either one of those right now. Or we could stay and we could just sit in the hotel and like
get a coffee and like
get our coffee and read books. We had our books with us.
Yeah. Because we had to pack up everything. So we had everything.
In this moment, I did go like, I'm going to just let him choose. And I know it's going to be an excruciating thing to make him do, but I'm just going to opt out. And I was like, I did the thing. That's kind of, it's not a great thing to do, but it's, you let me know what you want to do. Because I was on that precipice of I'd just eaten a sandwich. So I felt like, you know what? If doing Iceberg Lake was now our next move, I could make it happen. And then you were like, maybe we just read our books and sit in the hotel. And I was like, great. Inside, I went, I think that's the correct answer. Yeah. That's what we did.
Yeah. The hotel itself, there's a gift shop on the ground level, which we did walk through. I indulged you there, and we did get some things there. But there's also a cafe and like kind of like a little deli kind of like situation in the downstairs. So we got our coffee and went upstairs, which the upstairs lobby area is really cool. Becky had said they had sort of redone it, and they had hung a lot of Asian-inspired lamps were hanging from the lobby ceiling. It was really, really nice and kind of tranquil in there. There was someone playing piano. It wasn't like a piano player that was hired. It was just like, there's a piano in the lobby, and if you want to play piano, you can play piano.
And someone who plays very well was playing. Yeah. There's a ton of couches. There's a ton of chairs and tables.
You can sit out if there's space available. There's chairs chairs and rocking chairs on the balcony that you can just like walk right out and sit on. Obviously, you don't have to be a guest in the hotel to do this, because we clearly were not. And
we went outside and there were no seats available. So we were like, okay, let's go back inside. And someone ended up getting up from a couch. And so we were able to snag a couch.
Yeah. This is also very much so COVID time. So we were wearing our masks unless we were like, when we sat at those couches, and literally the seating was spaced so far apart. The couches and chairs were not near one another. So we sort of, I think, did ditch our masks at that point. But yeah, that was something that I think we tried to originally sit outside because of that.
But there were no chairs.
Right.
There was no seating.
This was also like, we sat on these gigantic, comfy, like leather couches, and just they swallowed us whole.
It was one of those, there were two across from each other, and like you were on the one across and I was on the other one, and it was one of those, like, I put my eyes on my book and I made it like halfway through a sentence and I just was like as did you.
As did I.
I was like, well, somebody's got to keep watch, right? I think we found a spot and then went down to get snacks down below.
Yeah.
Anyway, while we were sitting there, this lovely lady who was probably like in her early 50s.
Yeah.
She came by and was like, hey, I'm going to just leave my stuff here. Can you watch it for a minute? I think you were sleeping at this point.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm here just reading, whatnot. And so she left and came back, and she came back with a friend, and they sat at this table, which was about, I don't know, like 7 feet to the right.
Yeah, next to the windows.
And they sat there, and then we were engaged in conversation. And then you woke up and you started to engage in conversation too. Their names were Linda and Jill. They were both from Texas.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. One was from Colorado. Another one was from Texas.
No,
that's right.
Okay. Yeah. I thought they were both from Texas.
They were dear friends. I think it was one of their birthdays. And like, that's why they wanted to come specifically here for this birthday.
But they had been to Glacier before.
Yes.
Right.
They'd been many times.
And they've stayed in the lodge. They were staying in the lodge. We had just a lovely discussion about a lot of different things. We were talking about the podcast with them. You know, we said we were both in education as artists. And so they were, you know, talking about like what the art scene was like in Dallas. She told us about Crystal Bridges in Arkansas.
That's right.
So it was just like, it's always nice when you're able to like have those moments of engagement that are completely unexpected, kind of very random. Such warm presence from these two folks that
we sat there and talked with them for
like 45 minutes to an hour.
I was going to say like an hour. Yeah. Because we had all this time before we had to because we knew we had to get back to Johnson's at St. Mary's at some point.
Yeah.
To check in.
Yeah.
We said, well, let's just sit here and keep this conversation going.
Yeah.
And like that's what we did. It was great.
Yeah.
We talked about trails with them. It was lovely to chat with them about the different dynamics of nonprofit world in other cities.
Yeah.
Because I'm familiar with it in the city that I live in. It was nice to hear their perspective on that.
Totally. We did eventually make our way back to the car, and then eventually drove our way, which was a lot easier, I feel like, on the way driving out.
There wasn't a lot of stopping.
We didn't hit much stopping at all.
There was maybe hit one point for maybe 5 minutes.
We hit the sweet spot in and out. When we got back to Johnson of St. Mary's, we were able to check into our primitive cabin, which was honestly so lovely.
So
it was
lovely.
Just a bunk bed and like a regular bed that had like
mattress
pads on them. So we just put our bags down and like sort of rested and relaxed. And this is also the first rain that we had gotten the entire trip, and the first rain that they had had in a while. We had a thunderstorm roll through. So it was sort of just a lovely way to wrap up the evening and wrap up the day. I feel like thunderstorm rain weather is perfect, just relax a little bit weather. It gave us time to prepare for the epic journey we would be taking the following day.
Let's put the trail out to the Grinnell Glacier Viewpoint from Many Glacier on the Karen Stone scale. I'm going to say a 6.
I was going to say 5 because I think exhaustion was at play.
Major K player here.
And I don't want to like, you know, make that the thing that is the deciding factor, because I would probably have said an 8 if it was exhaustion related. But it feels like a pretty good middle of the road trail. You definitely do have some incline to deal with. It's not the worst. If you haven't done major incline the day before, it'll feel like a breeze potentially. So yeah, that's why I'm saying a 5.
I agree. And I'm saying a 6 because, yeah, the steep area was pretty steep. That's why it's 6 for me.
Great.
And now let's end this episode like we end all of our full-length episodes.
With some Jeopardy-style trivia.
Why don't you get us started, Mike?
My Jeopardy is titled Many, Many More. In this Jeopardy, I will be giving a description, and you will need to name a synonym for the word many.
Oh, great.
Because we were in Many, not Many Glacier.
Correct.
Great. For 100. This synonym for many sounds like it could be an additional number somewhere between 12 and 20.
What is over a dozen?
No. What is umpteenth?
Okay.
Got it. Okay. For 200. This synonym for many was the title of a 2010 horror film and has its roots in the Roman army to describe the amount of soldiers gathered, not a phalanx or a brigade.
What is Babadook?
Incorrect. What is a legion?
Okay. Great.
For 300, I guess I wrote a kryptonite category here.
It's okay.
This synonym for many would be an alliterative and somewhat redundant descriptor for a common brand of paper towels.
What is bounty?
Right, that is
Bountiful bounty?
That's right. What is bountiful bounty? Great. For 400, this synonym for many feels like what a science documentary would describe a tidal pool filled with abundant sea creatures, or a petri dish filled to the brim of active bacteria, not to be confused with what a group of football, soccer, or baseball players do together as a group.
Is it not to be confused with the word huddle?
No. This tidal pool is blanking with life.
Brimming?
Not brimming.
I don't know.
What's teeming?
Got it.
So not to be confused with those.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got you. All right. And for 500, while this two-word synonym for many sounds like it starts in a negative with a term meaning poor, bad, or not very good, in this sense it actually means abundance. Instead of saying the patient has a multitude of lice, a not very good doctor might say the patient is blank lice. I am purposefully leaving out one word because it would describe the two-word term.
Is it with?
Yes, with is the second word.
Okay.
Blank with lice, the negative term meaning poor, bad, or not very good.
What is infested?
No. What is lousy with?
Lousy with lice?
Mm-hmm. Lousy
that
with
was a
is
$500 clue for
Yeah.
sure.
I know. And clearly the category was a tricky one.
Darn.
My apologies.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
You're like, and now you die.
I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
My category is called Grinnell Glacier.
Mm-hmm.
Grin has quotation marks around Grin.
Mm-hmm.
All the answers contain
The word grin.
words that contain the word grin.
Okay.
Okay. Or Grin in
Got
that
it.
order.
Got it.
Okay. For 100. He's a mean one, but by the end of the story, his heart grew 3 sizes, all because of the spirit of Christmas.
Who is Michael Ryan?
That is correct. Also known as
The Grinch.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
For 200, in order to do hard work, you might need to put your nose to this.
What is the grindstone?
That's right. For 300, this is the name of the wizarding bank found in Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter universe.
What is Gringotts?
Correct. For 400, historically known as the duck hawk, this bird is found on almost all continents and breeds mostly on mountains and coastal cliffs.
What is a peregrine falcon?
That is correct. For 500, this word in noun form means embarrassment at having failed or been humiliated.
What is chagrin?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Look at that. I made a category that you could do very well. This has been Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast, and we're here to remind you to hike early and hike often, and that adventure is always out there.
Gaze at the National Parks was created and is hosted by us,
Dustin Ballard
and Michael Ryan.
To see images from this episode, follow our Instagram at Gaze at the National Parks. To contact us, email us at gazeatthenationalparks@gmail.com. And to find out more about the parks visited on this show, visit our website, gazeatthenationalparks.com. That's gaze, G-A-Z-E.
All original artwork featured on Instagram, on our website, and in the Gaze Shop is by me, Michael Ryan.
All original music was written by Dave Seaman and performed by Dave Seaman, Mariella Klinger, and Sean Sklios. Our music producer is Skyler Fortgang. This episode was edited by me, Dustin Ballard.
We would also like to acknowledge that while recording this episode, that we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lenape people, also known as Ocean County, New Jersey.